Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined by the one and only Ken Coleman this hour, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. And I know y'all got questions because I got a lot of DMs, Ken, from people who are confused. There's so much noise. There's so many distractions. They're scared. They're at a crossroads. They need some confirmation. They need a third-party opinion. And we want to be that for you today, whether it's around money, career, or just your life. And Ken's going to bring that wisdom for us.
Yeah, let's do it. If you got some work questions, you're worried about your work situation, maybe you want to leave, but you're scared financially, let's walk through that. Work and money, those are tied together, and it's what I love to talk about with George. And if they're looking for third-party opinions, they have come to the right place.
We have a third and a fourth.
We do. We have the opinions.
We're here for you. So
nice denim and shirt combo. Your shirt matches the thread on your denim jacket, and I noticed those
And they
things.
say men don't notice.
I noticed.
It's amazing.
Looking sharp today.
We're here for you. We'll give you fashion advice while we're at it. 888-825-5225. Lauren kicks us off in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Yeah. How's it going?
I guess I'll say my question first. I'm trying to figure out how to work together with my spouse in budgeting and doing bills and stuff when they struggle with not being great at finances and not being great at paying bills and stuff. And so I was just wanting some encouragement on how to work together with my spouse, or when, like, I'm the nerd and he's the free spirit, and trying to figure that out.
I like it. So is it safe to assume that you are great at the details and great at paying bills?
I'm good at it, but my health sometimes makes it really challenging to keep up with everything.
Oh, what's going on?
I have like autoimmune disease and stuff, and I also deal with like regular sicknesses, and I'm pregnant.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's a wild time at your house.
Yeah.
And in the middle of all this, you're going, we got to get our finances in order.
Yeah. Yeah. My
Is he
husband
willing?
appreciates it. He does appreciate it and tries to help. He's just not great at it, and he works a lot. So,
George, I'm hearing this, and I'm wondering if automation is not her friend. You know, meaning the automated get when she's feeling well, get to a point where we pay, where things are coming out auto draft or things of that nature, to try to spare him from having to pay.
Yeah, what's his big
Play
hang-up
to
right
his
now?
weaknesses.
Does it feel overwhelming to him? Is it he wants to spend?
I have auto pay set up on everything I possibly can. My biggest struggle is getting. I get lots of new bills, so I feel like every month there's always a new bill and always something that needs to be set up on payment plans and something that needs to be uploaded to our insurance. And so I get overwhelmed because I'll fall behind on those things. And I ask him to help me, but I don't know if it's just because he's never good at planning much with anything, let alone bills. And so when I ask him to help me with something, a month or two will go by and he'll have not touched it yet. And then eventually I'll have to do it myself once I find time.
Yeah, this is beyond just a financial issue. This is communication, and this is his commitment to y'all's marriage and y'all's future. And that's an even tougher thing to manage, because we can get through the financial part and get him to go, here's why, the value of a budget. I think this is beyond that. You need to let him know how scared you are, how this is affecting you, and saying, I am underwater right now. I'm struggling with my health. I'm pregnant. There's a lot going on with work. I need to feel like this is a team, and right now it feels like I'm on my own on this little island.
Yeah.
Have you said that to him?
I feel like I've started doing that. Yeah. I asked them also for just counseling for communication stuff, just working on being able to communicate better, because I'm learning that our family differences and stuff and how we grew up is definitely affecting our understanding towards each other. So
yeah, that's huge. What is his familiarity with kind of our Ramsey plan?
He's pretty familiar. We've never gone through your program. I grew up as a Dave Ramsey baby, but my parents still struggled with it a little bit. But when I got older and once I realized that money wasn't going great, because I saw my mom struggle with money, and I figured I didn't want to do that, so I just kind of left everything to him for a few years, and then realized he was struggling a lot with it. So this year and last year, the first year, I've actually tried to do everything. And so I'm struggling to keep up with everything. I know I'm better than him, and he's very familiar with Dave Ramsey, and I think he may not be like, I would say he's like 99% Dave Ramsey, but there's a little bit of stuff.
I don't know. The guy doesn't even want to talk about a budget, so 99 feels very generous.
He'll talk with me about a budget. He just won't do it he won't help me make the budget, and he'll follow the budget, but he won't help me.
But if you say, hey, I need your help uploading this bill to insurance, and he disappears for a month or two, that tells me he's not that committed to this plan. And to you, as not as a husband, but as far as a partnership goes, in getting through this wild season you guys are in. So what are you doing to budget right now? Are you using Every Dollar or a different tool?
Yes, I'm using Every Dollar.
Okay. So when he looks at Every Dollar and you go, here's the plan, he's the free spirit. So when he shows up to that budget committee meeting, are you letting him have a say?
I'm totally letting him have a say, but usually he just looks and is like, looks good, got it.
Okay. And does he follow it? You said he does. Does he follow it?
Yeah, he does. But he primarily doesn't make any of the purchases that so.
Okay, so he's not
our farm expenses separate from our life expenses, and I primarily make all the purchases for our life expenses.
So he's not going outside of the budget. He just is literally hands off on any financial transaction other than him getting gas in the car on his way home.
Yeah, well, he does purchases for our farm expenses because we have a small farm, but that's very, he doesn't make a budget for the farm expenses. He just knows I need feed this day, I need this day, right. And he does it, and he knows how much money he has.
I got to tell you something. I don't think this is first of all, some people are more detailed and organized than others, and then I get that. And I teach this all the time, play to your strengths and get somebody else involved on your team if you've got a giant area of weakness in your relationship. Same thing. Play to your strengths. Yep. And if your spouse is strong where you're weak, let it go and work together. Here's what I think's going on. I don't think this is about strengths and can't. And can't. I think it's he doesn't want to. I think he's got some real fear, something emotional in him that he just doesn't want to deal with the finances. He doesn't even want to touch it. It's like, hey, I got this bill that came in. Can you pay this? I think he's got some real emotional challenge with money.
Yeah. Well, I hope this helps, Lauren. I'm going to gift you with 1 year of Financial Peace University. Have him watch just the first lesson. Rachel breaks down budgeting, and hopefully it encourages him along the plan and Every Dollar as well.
And I would ask him, here's my point in there. I want to make sure that you two do some marriage counseling and get to the point, let a therapist really work on that fear. Why does he delay 2 or 3 months on just you saying, hey, I need you to pay these 3 bills?
Yeah.
I think that's going to help you two tremendously. And the communication that you want to get better will happen as a result of that. I think marriage counseling is the next step.
Yeah, this is just beyond this normal budgeting stuff. So hang on the line. Austin will gift you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium and Financial Peace University. I hope it helps. Thanks for the call.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 40% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. The number to call is 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk about your life, your work, your money, all the things that matter to you. Now listen, we have people who tune in to every episode of The Ramsey Show. We have data that proves that, and they know all the stuff we teach about money, and they still feel stressed out and stuck. Why? Because knowing what to do with your money isn't the problem. Actually doing it is. And we know that personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge. And the proven way to change your behavior with money is by taking a Financial Peace University class. That is what doing it looks like. So this class is the difference between trying to get into shape on your own versus hiring a personal trainer. You're going to have a coordinator that's holding you accountable and other people in the class pushing you and cheering you on. And that's why this class has worked for millions. You need that community. You need that accountability. And after 9 weeks, you will never handle money the same way again. You will make progress faster than ever. So don't just listen to us. Commit to doing what it takes to win. You can join an FPU class at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU.
I'm leading my class tonight, George.
Oh, that's right. You're on the evening schedule.
Got the Wednesday, Friday nights for the wild and crazy folks.
How's it going? I've been enjoying mine. If you didn't know, Ken and I are both leading a class right now. I believe it's too late to join Ken's. You might still be able to sneak into mine.
How'd your first one go? You just started it.
Wonderful.
You were
crowd.
nervous the other day. You almost threw up on your desk.
It's a lot of pressure when a few hundred people are going, I need this guy to help me. But it was an honor of a lifetime, and we had
fun?
A great time.
It's a lot of fun. Lot of fun.
Whether it's virtual or you can do one in person in your community, it is so worth it, and it goes way beyond, just what a book or podcast could do for you. It's a next level commitment, and it is so worth it. All right, let's get to the lines. Allie joins us up next in Portland, Maine. Allie, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can Ken and I help?
So my husband and I are currently in baby step 2 working on paying down our debt. And we're just wondering if we should sell our house to help with paying our debt and rent for a while.
Wow. Okay. How much debt do you have?
Total, we have $450,000 in debt. That's including our mortgage, which is $214 of that.
Oh, you scared me half to death. Okay. So how much is the consumer debt? Let's focus on that.
Okay, it's $234,000.
Okay, and what is your income?
$120,000 a year.
Good. And what kind of debt is this $234? What's it made up of?
It's a little bit of everything. Some credit card debt, some medical debt, and student loans, and then we do have a home equity loan.
Oof.
And a car.
What's the car worth?
The car is worth $31,000.
And what's left on the loan?
We owe $43,000 on it.
Oh, did you roll negative equity into it?
Yes.
Oh, you guys have done it all.
No,
okay.
we didn't roll negative equity into that, but it's just gone down.
And you're sure of this? You've checked like the private party value on Kelley Blue Book?
Yeah, that's the 31 is the Kelley Blue Book.
Ouch. Okay. Yeah. So we've got a mess on our hands. You guys are willing to do something about it to the point that you're going, should we sell the house?
Yeah.
What's the equity in the home?
We could, we probably could get right about $400,000 on the house.
That's what it would sell for.
Yeah.
And
that's
how
what
much?
It would sell for.
What would your net profit be after all the fees and all that?
It would probably be around $350,000.
But the house isn't paid for. You still got a mortgage on it.
No.
So once the mortgage is paid and the fees are paid, what would you make?
It would be like $80,000 that we could put onto our debt. So we'd still have quite a bit of debt.
Okay, that was my question. Because this is it's not a get out of jail free card to sell the house, but it will speed this process up.
Yeah.
What would be your plan? Let's assume that you didn't ask us and you guys had already done this. What would your living arrangements be?
We were planning on looking to rent if we sold. Renting obviously is hard right now, but that would kind of be where we're at, just to put more money down on our debt.
What is your mortgage payment currently versus your take-home pay monthly?
Our monthly take-home pay, well, we're kind of like really gazelle intense right now, so we're making about $10,000 take-home pay.
Great.
And our mortgage payment is $1,500.
Okay.
So it's a good payment.
So
monthly.
I would say before you go sell the house, I would see how much traction we could make to increase our income.
Okay.
I don't think it's worth selling the car at this point with your income. Do you have another car that's paid off, or is this the only car?
Yeah, we have another car that's paid off.
Okay. So could you go down to one car for a while, or you need 2 cars in the house?
We've been contemplating that. We could go to one car for a while.
Okay. And then how much do you have in savings or non-retirement investments?
We just have our $100 in our, $1,000 in our, our baby step one.
Okay. So here's the
We
question
did just
for me.
have a baby, so we.
Oh, fun. Adding to the party.
Yeah, we paid off our medical bills from that and then started our snowball.
Cool. So if I was in your shoes, which is how we answer questions on the show, I want to see before we make this huge step of selling the home, can we build enough traction, get enough extra income, which Ken can help with, in order to knock this debt out faster? Because if this is going to be a 5-year debt payoff process, we've got to speed it up, and selling the home is probably the right move. But if you can go, all right, we're going to take our income from 120 to 180, and we're going to throw 100 at this debt, and it's gone in 2+ years, then I go, great.
Yeah.
Because the problem is your mortgage is $1,500. You might have to go rent for $2,500.
Right. More than, yeah, exactly.
And so it doesn't necessarily solve all your problems at this point. And so I want you to keep your home until you realize there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We got to sell this thing. So it's a last-ditch effort. But what are the ways you're increasing income now?
Well, I'm a nurse and my husband's a paramedic, so we've been trying to pick up as much overtime as we can just because there's a lot of overtime. And then I've been making quite a bit in bonuses. Right now I'm on maternity leave, but we'll be going back soon. So that will increase it a little bit too. But that's basically what we've just been doing, is trying to pick up overtime when we can.
And you're probably limited. That's probably your best option, is overtime versus other side gigs. You're going to just get more for your time, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I would look hard. I would look everywhere. I wouldn't accept the first couple of options. I remember, it feels like a year or so ago, we had a lady come in and do her debt-free scream, and she was a travel nurse, and she just went crazy working, traveling from COVID on, and was able to make an enormous amount of money. So I think George is right. You guys need to have the same gazelle intensity about making money right now as you do about saving and paying off debt. How far up where is the car that you owe 40 on? Where's that in the debt snowball?
It's almost at the end.
It's at the end.
It's our second to last debt. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We have a lot of little debts.
Okay. Well, I kind of like that because I'm with George. I wouldn't sell the house yet.
Okay.
But I will tell you, I have a slight, I don't know if it's a difference of opinion, but to me, if you guys, is this your forever house? Is this a house that, let's just say that you had no debt right now. Would this be the house you want to stay in long term?
Yeah, that's the thing, is it won't be. We're definitely going to outgrow it.
All right.
It's not somewhere where we would be long term.
I would look at the budget. And I would look at it and I would say, okay, yes, our rent's going to go up, but if we could take $80,000, let's assume that's the number that you could put towards debt right now, I would go right through the snowball and I'd take $80,000, the first 80, and then I would say, how much more money a month now are we going to essentially have control over that we're not paying towards debt? Yeah. And I would look at that with the new budget. I'm going to put that towards the rest of the snowball. But now I'm increasing my cost over here on this line item, and I would look at that.
Yeah, and if you can keep that income nice and high at $10,000 or more take home, then $2,500 rent is doable.
I'd actually probably sell it. I really would, George, to get the momentum of $80,000 to get us out of this process and know that now we're going to start fresh. Emergency fund, 3A, then 3B, if you will, and that's what I would do. I'd actually sell it, knowing I don't want to be there long term.
I love it. Well,
if you can make the budget work.
Talk it over with your spouse and see what makes sense for you guys. But either way, you have the intensity to do this thing, and we want to help. We're going to gift you 1 year of Financial Peace University to cheer you along. Call us back when you're debt-free. We can't wait to hear the story. Thanks for the call.
Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman. We're going to take a break from our regularly scheduled programming of taking calls to take a live call. And it's not just a call, it's a debt-free scream on the stage with our newest friends, Muhammad and Catherine. How are you guys?
Good.
We're doing great.
Where are you guys from?
Fort Worth, Texas.
All right.
Oh, wonderful. You guys are so in unison. You've got matching T-shirts. I just love this already.
Let's, before we go any further, for our listening audience, tell us what's on the T-shirt. I'm not sure I can make it all out.
It says, "How could I make sense when I got millions on my mind?"
Ooh, sense spelled
Sense being
C-E-N-T-S.
Yes. That, I got to tell you, we've had a lot of debt-free screamers with the theme T-shirts. I'm nominating you guys all-time best.
Woo, I
Very
like it.
classy.
I'm going to go ahead and put that nomination forward. We'll put it to James and see what happens.
All right.
Ken's got a lot of pull around here.
Yeah,
So
I do.
how much debt have you guys paid off?
It's $313,339.
Wow.
Shut the front door. That's amazing. And how long did that take?
3 years, 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of
Incredible.
threes. A lot of threes.
There's a lot of threes.
Yeah. How long? And what was your range of income during this time?
We went from 110,000 to about 175.
Tell me how.
Well, I'm a nurse.
Okay.
So the pandemic was rough on a lot of people, and it was also rough in the healthcare community. But that was an opportunity for me to get in there, work a lot of extra hours. I worked multiple jobs at the same time for a large part of this, and we just got it done.
And also, too, so I work in law enforcement, and during COVID time, me and her, we just took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna shed a lot more light on her than it is me, but she was working 2 jobs, 2 nursing jobs while she was pregnant.
Oh, my.
Wow.
And she was working on COVID floors.
Wow.
And so she busted her butt during COVID time, and she was working more hours than me. She was embarrassing me when it comes to working overtime.
It was not embarrassing. I just could make a little bit more money. It's okay.
That's incredible.
You guys are our definition of power couple.
Yes.
No
Amazing.
question about it.
So what
Thank
kind
you
of
for
debt?
how you serve, sir. Thank you. for
Yes,
what
thank
do.
you.
Thank
What
you.
kind of debt was this? Over $300,000.
Student loans and our house payment. And
Oh
our
my
house.
goodness!
Yes.
Paid off the mortgage.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. House and everything.
We are looking at some weird
That
folks right
explains
now.
the millions on their mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're on that track.
Okay, so 3 years and 8 months ago, you guys were staring down the barrel of 300 some grand. What made you go, we're going to get rid of the student loans and keep barreling through this house?
Well, you know what? I think at first when it started, when they paused the student loans, and it was like, hey, this is our time. This is our time to go for it 100%. And so once we got past the student loans, and I was like, yeah, hey, you know what? I'm satisfied. I'm grateful that we paid off our student loans, but let's just knock out all of our debt. Let's continue to be intense and also intentional at the same time. And she was on board. She said, hey, let's get done. And, once we wrote the numbers down on paper, it's like, hey, you know what? We can do this. We can sacrifice a little bit more time to be done forever.
Wow. So you were like, an object that's in motion stays in motion. Let's just keep this party going.
Yeah, she says I have tunnel vision a lot, and
He
I
does.
want it to be debt-free. So let's be debt-free all the way, because I knew once we start this new journey of being debt-free, I don't want to pause again. I don't want to say, hey, let's knock this out. Let's just do it all at one time.
Well, and now you believe it. You've already got the hope. The numbers are
Yes.
right there. It's just like, well, mathematically, here's what we need to do.
Yes, and I kept asking like, hey, are you okay? Can we do this for 2 more years? And
here you are.
Well,
yes.
Initially, like it was gonna be a little longer, and then I was just like, I'll be honest, it was hard on me. I was like, this is tough. I see how much money we make and how much money we're spending per se. Like our budget was very, 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 very tight, and so. Yeah, I was.
You're making 175 and feeling broke because all the money's going right back out.
Yes, exactly.
And she's tired and pregnant.
Yes.
2 nursing jobs and growing a baby. I mean, that's unbelievable.
So impressive.
What was the mindset that you took on when you were feeling like, I don't have to do this. I'm exhausted. What did you do to keep going?
Well, I'll preface like initially, I was not on board with the baby steps, with all of this. I knew that I always wanted to like be out of debt. Like I understood financial freedom. Like my parents kind of taught that to me growing up, but I didn't necessarily like know how. And so he discovered Dave a lot sooner than I did, and he would listen and say all of this stuff and just going on and on and on, and that we only need $1,000. I was like, $1,000 in the savings? Like that is ridiculous. Like what is that? Sounds insane. I'm just gonna be honest how I was originally feeling. And it seems like after he stopped pressuring me, I think that gave God room to really work on me and let me see what was going on. And then one day I just happened to be listening to Dave, and we're like, okay, I think we can do this. And actually I just came to him and I was like, I think we should empty out our savings down to 1,000 and just go there. And then this was the tail end of 2019. And so then when the pandemic hit, I kind of just seen like, okay, the CARES Act came out. They said the student loans will be paused until October. Let's do it. Like we can get this done by October of 2020. That was my goal. And
so when
I
everyone else was laying back, you leaned in. You were like, all right, game on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. You guys are incredible. How'd you get connected to all this stuff? Was there any tools or resources or podcast? How'd you find us?
Honestly, it was on vacation. We were on our way vacationing somewhere, and I was on YouTube looking out how to become a millionaire, how to get debt free. And
Like I want a vacation all the time. How do we get there?
And the Ramsey, Dave Ramsey podcast was showing up on YouTube, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this dude is crazy. This is me. Like this is what I want. And it was like thank you, God, because now I know I'm not crazy. I know I'm not the only person that thinks that doing it like this can work. And so when I found him, it was like, look, this is my thought process. And look, somebody believes in me who's already a millionaire. And it's hundreds of people who has already done his baby steps that have said this works. And it was like a match made in heaven.
Wow. And you're on your way now. Are you guys net worth millionaires yet? You've got to be close.
Not yet, but we are on our way.
We're getting close, yeah.
We are on our way, yes.
That's incredible. How does it feel now to be completely debt free? You guys did this thing.
It was amazing. I will be honest. It didn't really like feel real initially because I was still working 2 jobs at that point. But that first month when like our mortgage didn't come out, it was like, whoo, this is amazing.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah, but no, it felt like amazing. Like you said, we got a pay raise, but now we're investing in our retirement more, and we're able to, at least for me, I have the option if I wanted to and have more kids to even stay at home. And that's something that wouldn't be afforded to us if we did not go through and make this journey.
Yes, and for me, honestly, it feels great because I kept telling her, like, it's times where, I can tell she's not happy because, she wants to get her feet done more, get her eyelashes done more. And I will always tell her, hey, I don't want to settle with you for the minimum. I want to give you the maximum in life.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And, this is something that I truly wanted to do, and it's because I have, my people who inspire me, like my uncle and even my father-in-law, her pops, they have shown me a great path of saying, hey, this is, not telling me, but showing me, hey,
Well, you're changing your family tree now.
Yes.
Let's get your little one up here before we run out of time. What's the name and age?
This is Titan.
Oh, love it.
He is 22 months. and
So
he
cute.
has a cookie.
His first debt-free scream. Here we go.
Yes.
We got a Live and Give box for you with Financial Peace University, Baby Steps Millionaires, Total Money Makeover. Pass it on to someone you love to get them started. It's
right.
Muhammad and Catherine and Titan, Fort Worth, Texas. $313,000 paid off, 3 years, 8 months, making $110 to $175. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
House and everything. Family tree changed. Legacy initiated. That's how it's done, folks. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. If you're a new listener, and we know that we got a lot of people who are just finding us through Google and YouTube and Spotify and TBN and who knows where, I want to let you know that you can dive deeper into all the stuff we're talking about today, into the Ramsey baby steps, into the lingo that we're preaching out on here. You can go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button, and we will help you figure out the next best step for your financial journey based on exactly where you are today. That's RamseySolutions.com. Click on Get Started. Mackenzie joins us up next in Concord, New Hampshire. Mackenzie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I have about $335,000 in debt, and that includes my house, my student loans, and my car. My mom also took out a couple Parent Plus loans for me when I was in college, which were about $20,000. And I think she's kind of expecting me to give her money for that. All of the different debt has different interest rates, and I have some money saved. I just want to know the best way to start paying that back.
Cool. And what's your income?
About $60,000.
Okay. And how much is the consumer debt that you have? If you subtract the mortgage from that $335,000.
The student loans are $52,000 in my name, and my car is $7,500.
Okay. Cool. And you make $60,000, and you got $20,000 that is kind of you're not sure, but you're going, hey, mom's wanting this paid back. Even though legally it's on her, you kind of feel the obligation to pay her for this.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much do you have in savings?
About $13,000.
Oh, nice. Okay. And what's your current life situation? You're out of school, you're working full time?
Yeah, I'm working full time. I have a part-time job as well. And my boyfriend and I own our house together, so it's not just me on that.
Oh, are both of your names on the deed?
Yep.
And the mortgage?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
How does that work out? What happens if you guys split?
I don't think that will be a problem.
Why so sure?
Stranger things have happened. I'm just saying.
I know. I've started to tap into people I know, but we're very sure before we made that decision that we are going to get married. It's just we do want to get the debt paid off before my debt paid off before we get married.
So is he helping pay your debt off?
No, but kind of he's going to, but I want to kind of work on that.
Does he have debt?
No.
Okay. I would keep your finances completely separate, including separate bank accounts. Do you guys have a joint bank account, or are they separate?
We have a joint bank account for the house.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to answer your question because that's what you called in for. Okay. How can I get rid of this debt? And the crazy part is I'm going to tell you to ignore the interest rates.
Okay.
The best way I found, this is what I did. I had student loans, I had credit cards, I had $40,000 total in consumer debt, and I just listed them out from smallest to largest balance, and I just ignored the interest rate because this is about behavior right now and not about math. And once you do that, you follow the debt snowball method where you make minimum payments on all the debts, but that littlest one we're going to attack with a vengeance, with that part-time job, with selling stuff, rice and beans budget, cutting out the subscriptions, cutting out eating out, and you will attack that debt pretty quickly, making $60,000 with how much do you have total on that? $7,500 and then another $52,000?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's 59.
So in 2 years, this thing should be gone. Can you throw $30,000 at it a year with your extra part-time job?
Probably not, because our house payment is expensive.
Oh, gosh. How much is it?
$2,500 a month.
Okay, and you guys are splitting that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's $1,250 a piece.
Yep.
So it's not crazy once it's all split up, but it's still a lot.
Yeah. That includes taxes and everything.
Sure. Okay, well, I mean, this is beyond the debt snowball, which you can do, and I would suggest doing it on your own. I don't want him paying this off because, and again, this is the show people call when everything didn't go to plan, when everything on paper didn't work out. And so that's why I'm telling you, I don't want him paying off your debts. All of a sudden, something doesn't work out, and he goes, whoa, I paid off your debt. I need that money back. And it becomes a huge issue.
Right.
And are you going to pay Mom back too? Have you talked about this and what we're going to do there?
Well, I thought that it was in my name. So I had already given her money for it, like some, because there was more than that a few years ago. And then with the payment pause, I was focusing on my own stuff that I've been still paying through the COVID interest rate pause.
Okay.
And so I thought it was in my name too. And like I've been recently doing more research, and I see now that like it's not. So I don't know what to do.
Okay. I would probably roll that into your debt snowball and make that a part of the plan, because this is it will ruin the relationship if you just leave this hanging out there. And it's probably already causing some resentment from Mom.
Yeah, well, there's bigger issues there, but I feel like she won't be paying anything on it. In the meantime, like I feel like
that's what worries me. This thing's accruing interest. It's in her name.
Right.
It's hurting her financial life. She's going to be unable to retire with this thing hanging over her neck. Student loans, you can't bankrupt. And so this thing's not going away. And so we've got to communicate about a plan. Don't let Mom just sit there wondering what's going to happen.
Okay. Mackenzie, you guys have got to get this marriage situation figured out. What I heard you say is that you wanted to wait to get married till you pay off this debt, and you guys have got no boundaries that you should actually have because you're not married. And so I don't know why you guys don't just get married and do this thing together. I just am so concerned about what could happen here. And I know you don't believe anything could happen, but I'm going to tell you something. There's no guarantees here, and you're in a very unstable situation. And I don't want to be unkind, and that is not my heart here. It's to say that if you guys are committed to marrying each other and staying married, I wouldn't wait. Let's go ahead and get married, join together as a team, and remove these weird relationship dynamics where we should have boundaries, we don't, and then I don't know what you're waiting on.
I think that like trying to put all of our money we can towards debt, it's like, well, we don't want to. It costs money to get married, and like we're not like we'd have like a really expensive wedding or anything like that. But why don't we like use our money now to pay off the debt rather than spend it on a wedding or
okay, I appreciate that thought. I've got a comeback for you. You can go down to the courthouse this evening and get that done. It costs nothing. You can do a ceremony later. I can't tell you how many couples did that during COVID and did their celebration later. So you're making excuses here. And listen, I'm not getting on you. I just think this is a powder keg that could blow up on you. And there's so much going on here. And George, and again, I'm not telling you what's morally right and morally wrong. I'm just saying from a relationship standpoint, what we know about the data and marriage and money, this thing is really weird, and I don't know why I would wait. I would get married. Okay. Let's do a celebration and ceremony later, and let's move forward with our lives together, not separate on some things, together on others. I mean, I don't like it. I think it's going to set you up for defeat.
Yeah, it makes me nervous just hearing about you've got issues all over, Mackenzie. So it's beyond just getting out of debt.
Simplify your life, relationally and financially, is what I'm begging you to do.
Okay.
We wish you the best,
Thank
Mackenzie.
you.
I don't know if you'll
Thank you
do
so
any
much.
of this, but we gave you the truth, and that's the most we can do on this show. But we've just seen it. For every Mackenzie, there's another call who went, I had a house with my boyfriend, and we thought it was going to work out perfectly, and it didn't, and we had no financial protections, and it's so messy because I'm on the mortgage, and he's not, and who pays now? And it just breaks our heart to hear those stories.
Anytime you've got a ton of complexity in any area of your life, get to simplicity as quickly as possible. Because when it's complex, you got all these pieces that are kind of balancing or kind of not bumping into each other. All it takes is one thing to just go wrong and the whole thing falls.
Yes.
And that's what I'm concerned about there.
Well, and we got mom. And so parents
That
out there,
issue too.
please do not take out Parent Plus loans for your kids thinking that it's a blessing. The interest rates are insane. You're on the hook, and it puts your kid in a weird position. Do not do this. Please find another way for your kid to go to school debt-free. Don't take the bait of those Parent Plus loans. They're toxic. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Ken Coleman, my co-host, all the dudes in the booth keeping the show afloat today, and you, America, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back before you know it. Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Camel, joined by best-selling author Ken Coleman this hour. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. If you've got that lingering question, you're just not sure, you're tired of just Googling and hoping, we hope to give you some good advice on this show, whether it's about your money, your work life, or something else in between. We're just maybe some relationship advice. Ken's got a lot of wisdom in that arena. That's for sure. You've been married a long time.
I will say this. I don't ask for it, but I do enjoy the occasional dating relationship advice situation because I like to get right down to brass tacks.
He's seen it all, folks.
Boy, haven't I.
So if you've
I'll tell you what
I'm
seeing more of that we want to talk about here because it affects our listeners and viewers' pocketbooks.
What's that?
I'm going to tell you what it is. I've coined a phrase, George. I've coined a phrase for it.
Okay.
You know what it's called?
What's that?
The compensation tax.
Oh.
Let me tell you what this looks like. You show up to a coffee shop in my neighborhood the other day. I order myself a Cuban to go.
Nice choice, by the way.
I'm getting ready to pay. What happens? The young man behind the counter, with a little bit of entitlement, I might add, as I'm paying, flips the screen around, or I'm ready to pay, flips it around and says, here's where you pay and tip, sir. And I think to myself, now it's expected that I tip. I'm tipping at restaurants, which is normal. Now we're tipping everywhere.
Everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go.
There's an iPad involved.
There's an iPad. You got a tip option.
I just say no thank you to the iPad. I go, don't turn that around. I don't want to know. It's your business, not mine.
I didn't get that confrontational. I just went with I paid and I didn't do a tip. And I'm going to tell you what it is. These small business people in general are getting smart. And you got inflation happening to them in the form of they're having to pay higher wages. So you know what they're doing? They're adding a compensation tax for us. That's what I'm calling it. And our little tip helps them juice the hourly wage.
Yeah, I don't have to give them a raise if I can just get the customers to give more tips.
But see, there was no email, there was no sign on the door that explained this. Just one day, you started getting prompted to tip where you didn't tip before.
Yes.
So if you're not serving me, taking my order, multiple trips for multiple drinks, I'm not tipping you.
If I'm standing up and you're asking me for a tip, it's over. This better be a sit down, lay down situation if you're wanting a tip from me. You know?
Yeah.
The barbershop, the massage, the restaurant. If I'm standing, I'm doing the work right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
I won't stand for this.
Thank you. You put your foot down.
We went full Seinfeld there. There you go.
But let me just say this, though. This is a thing, and I'm just pointing it out. You and I agree it's okay to not tip in that situation.
Yes.
Not a restaurant, a waiter situation, but just it's a transaction across the counter. Now, if you want to tip, fine. But don't throw the hate at George and I because we don't feel like we got a tip in that situation.
I won't stand for it. And this is funny you mentioned this. I just released a video on my new YouTube channel about when you should and shouldn't tip. And I made it very clear.
Okay, lay it out for us.
My stance for it.
Did we cover everything?
I gave you a taste. This is a tease to go watch the video.
Oh, you don't want to give it away.
But a follower on Instagram just sent me this, Ken, and I think you'll appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, the guys have a picture of this. If you're not
we'll put this up
watching-
on the screen for those that are watching. This is a sign that's at the register at a Jets Pizza somewhere in America.
I do like, by the way, some Jets. I really do.
I'm going to read it to you, Ken. Tips are no longer accepted. Thank you to all of our extraordinarily generous customers. We are here because of you. Rest assured, in lieu of tips, we are increasing the compensation of all our team members. We look forward to continuing to provide the best possible customer service. Thank you from your Jets Pizza team.
Now, I love
That's good leadership.
It's good leadership. Now, I'm assuming this is referring to pickup and takeout.
Sure. Yeah, if they're delivering pizza, you should be tipping.
You should be tipping. I want to stipulate. Okay, good.
But if you're picking up the pizza and then they spin around the iPad, I don't want to deal with that. I drove all the way here to pick up the pizza so I didn't have to pay the delivery fee and tip.
I like it, George. I like it. So there you go.
That's the move I think more business owners need to do. Put the sign out there and say, not only are they not expected, but they're not even accepted.
Yeah. And by the way, this has fundamental economic impact here. When you start talking about putting an extra tip on where customers aren't used to tipping, that's real inflation to them. And you're trying to do it. You're socking it to your customer because of the wages you want to pay, or maybe you're trying to juice your profits. And I think there's going to be a lot of snapback on this kickback. And that's why this sign is existing. Jets is seeing a competitive advantage for taking that position. So there you go.
And I would want to give my business to those kinds of business owners who are doing those things. And this is not, people come at us, Ken, and they go, wow, I can't believe these guys are so stingy. They don't want to be generous. This has nothing to do with generosity. Absolutely be generous whenever you can in all situations.
It's a
tax. This idea of I'm going to have a socially awkward moment where I spin around the iPad and the employees don't want to do that either. They always go, it's got a question for you. I don't know what the question is. They feel awkward too.
And hey, while we're on this subject, folks, when you go out to eat at a restaurant, check the bill. Because a lot of restaurants are socking in an extra fee that has nothing to do with taxes, state and local taxes. And I'm one. I'll have the manager come out and go, talk to me about this. What is this? What is this thing you've stuck here on the bill that's not tax related and it's not the tip line? Watch out for it. Look at your bill. You'll see it.
Yeah.
And I have them out there going, you didn't tell me about this when I walked in.
That's a good point. Check your receipts. And it's okay to ask and say, hey, I got billed for this. I don't know what it is. That happened to me at a restaurant, and it said health tax. And I was like, whose health? My health?
Yeah.
I found out we are subsidizing the health care for the employees so the business owners don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair.
Let me tell you what I don't have to do, folks. I do not have to pay a tax that some politician didn't pass. So you can put it on the bill, but unless Congress or state and local government passed it, take this tax and shove it.
Kenny Boy's
you know
not
what
doing
I'm
it.
saying? There you go. Just crumple that little receipt up.
The normal way to
give
do
me
it
a new one.
is you raise prices, and if the customer no longer wants to pay those prices, they'll do business elsewhere.
And that is the obligation and the right of any business person. Go for it. Let's see if it works. But don't hit me with the old guilt trip tip. Ploy.
Yes. And
It's a
Rachel
guilt
Cruz
trip.
and I, we did an episode, we called it guilt tipping. I thought you'd like the pun there on Smart Money Happy Hour.
Like cow tipping.
Yes,
But guilt-
very similar.
Yeah, I like that.
But no cows are hurt
A
in this
lot
situation.
of young people watching the show right now have no idea what cow tipping is.
Well, I'm pretty sure anyone that doesn't live in middle America doesn't know what cow tipping is.
Yeah.
I'm a
It's
city
dangerous.
slicker. I don't know what that is.
Have you never heard of it?
I've heard of it. I would never do it. I'm not going full PETA here. I'm just saying I don't think it's a nice thing to do.
I'm not taking a position on it. I've never attempted it, for the record, so spare the hate mail. Sounds like it might be hilarious.
I feel like the cow would kick back and it would be over for
Which
me.
is why it would be funny. I think I lose trying to do that.
They love that comedy.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to learn more about this, I made a hopefully very entertaining video
You did.
on my YouTube channel called When You Should and Shouldn't Tip, and you can just search for George Camel with a K on YouTube, and let me know your thoughts. Drop some comments in there and tell me when you think you should and shouldn't tip, because honestly, it's exhausting trying to figure it out. Because you don't want to be a bad person. You don't want to be socially judged. We want to be generous, but it's gone too far.
It has.
Thank you for that, Ken. From our mouth to your ears, that is our thoughts on tipping, whether you want it or not.
We've hit the tipping point on tipping.
I think we're exhausted from talking about tipping at this point.
I might tip you just to stop talking about it.
Oh, my goodness. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Listen, paying off debt is smart. Saving and investing, very smart. But there is one key to winning with money that people overlook all the time, and that is protecting your finances from emergencies. And that is exactly the role of insurance. Now, there are 10 kinds of coverage that you might need based on what your life looks like today. And to make it easy on you, our team has built an incredible tool called the Coverage Checkup to show you which types you need to add, drop, or adjust. We'll even rank your coverage list by importance. We'll email it to you and connect you with a Ramsey trusted insurance provider so you can get your plan in place fast. Seriously, this could be the most important 5 minutes you spend today. You can do that at RamseySolutions.com/checkup. That's RamseySolutions.com/checkup. And Ken, let me read you a message I just got on Facebook yesterday from a fella. He said, "You saved me $650 for the next year by shopping insurances, home and auto. Thanks, sir. Wish I checked that a few years ago." I couldn't have planned that any better. And now I didn't do anything. He said, "You saved me." I didn't do anything. He did the work, but it takes actually doing this checkup to go, am I getting good rates? Do I have the right coverage? So if you're looking to make more money, you don't have to always go do the side hustle. Sometimes you can just reshop your insurance and get a better rate.
Yeah, so true.
Love it. Go check that out. All right, let's go to the phones. Is it Sheila in Seattle? Sheila, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. So I'm going to give you a quick background. I'm a nurse. I work from home near Seattle, and I started my MBA to help me move up. My company has been paying for it, and they have paid so far $7,000. And my commitment to them is to look for a job 3 months after I complete my MBA, and this should be done around between January to March, because I'm about to be done towards the end of the year. However, just last week, I learned that I'm going to lose my job. Several of us, 5 of us are losing it, and throughout the company. So I have the option to stay here as a nurse in a probably less desirable position, so I can continue to make money and also to keep my commitment. That $7,000 is actually through the union. So that's
Sheila, I'm sorry. Sheila, I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt because I'm confused.
Okay.
You said you're losing your job, but then you have the opportunity to stay there. So you're losing your current nursing job, but they're offering you another nursing job that doesn't pay as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and so it'll be about the same pay, but as I'm looking around internally, they're not the very desirable jobs. They're okay jobs, and they're probably are hybrid. I don't want to be back to a clinic nursing job or, urgent care.
Okay.
I lost all of that experience anyway. So I do have the option to go outside within my company, but I will lose. I'll have to pay them back the $7,000. So my question is, should I just get anything I could and stay here until spring or, through the end of 2024?
At which point, so hold on. So your commitment, so you don't want to pay back the $7,000. And so your commitment is, I didn't understand that part. Your commitment is you stay through the spring, and then what are you able to do?
So the commitment is until spring, and then I'm free to go wherever, outside of my employer.
But if you don't stay until the spring, you're going to have to pay them $7,000 back immediately.
Yes, and I'll have to put up with a not so desirable job.
Okay. I think, and you'll be done with the MBA as well at this time?
Yeah, I will be done with my MBA. My goal is to be done by this fall.
Okay, and so why the MBA? Do you want to stay in nursing, or was this your exit out of the nursing industry?
Well, both ways. If I can't get into the tech industry to do sales or something business, I'll have to stick it out with nursing in a management role, which is all right.
No, it's not.
It's all right.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's okay to say, I don't want to be a nursing
It's
anymore.
okay for you to go, I don't want to be a nurse. So if I understand this right, I'm sorry, I'm trying to pay attention to all the variables. I don't think any of the variables really matter that much because you don't want to be in nursing long term. And quite frankly, the MBA, you're going to finish this fall anyway. And the MBA has nothing to do with you getting into tech sales. It just doesn't. If you can. And so tech sales is a very, very good industry to be in. It's got a lot of opportunity. So if it were me, I would stay in the nursing role because it's going to, even though the one you're in now, you're not going to be able to be in, but you can get another nursing role that pays about, if not the same money, pretty close to it if I heard you right. And I don't have to.
It's actually going to be the same money.
Okay, great.
Probably.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But we don't have to pay $7,000 back. I personally would stick it out to next spring and not have to fork out $7,000 because you've done it before. You can do it. It's not the end of the world. Is it desirable? No. But you don't want to be in nursing long term anyway. And I think it allows you time to start looking today. And let's see if we can land a great gig. If there's any other qualifications, like maybe a certification or something like that, to be able to sell for a tech company, there might be some training. If this gives you time to find the path, to find another opportunity, and so I would stick it out and not pay the $7,000. Okay. George, do you disagree with that?
No, I'm with Ken. Unless you just are flush with cash, you have no debt, and you can get an opportunity soon in that world and make the same money, then I would stick it out until then. Yeah. So do you have any debt?
No, I don't. Through the Dave Ramsey program, I've been really blessed, incredibly. I have my emergency fund. I got a condo. I'm even paying extra $1,000 a month.
Wow.
My kid has just graduated from his business ad degree. I am not anxious about my job loss while the other nurses are anxious. And so I could really just afford to let go of the $7,000, but $7,000 is still $7,000.
Yeah. Agreed. And that's why, unless you're going to go, hey, I'm going to get a $10,000 pay bump and I'll just pay the $7,000 to be done with it. It's not in my emergency fund because it's not an emergency. Then in that case, I'd go, all right, if you find a great opportunity, you don't want to stick this out for 10 more months, go for it. But
I agree with that.
I'm with Ken on the fact that I would stick it around right now until you find that opportunity.
Yeah. Let's say you find something really great this fall. And the increase in pay is there, and you can actually afford the $7,000. We don't. By the way, this is not an emergency fund situation. This is $7,000 above and beyond everything you're doing. Then of course you can do it, But if you can stick it out and time it out right, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, Ken, this brings up the point that a lot of people face in their careers and in their work of kind of the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
And that's where she finds herself of going, I want to leave, but I'm stuck because of XYZ. And if I leave, I'm going to owe them this. And it's one of the reasons some of these benefits I'm not a huge fan of, because you go, I got to work for this employer for 3 more years. And what if I want to leave nursing? What if it's toxic?
That's exactly right. And it's not to say that her decision is wrong or anyone hasn't been able to use this type of situation in their benefit. But most of the time when companies pay for your education or reimburse you, they're looking for a commitment. And to me, it's about freedom. I'm going to keep coming back to this. At the heart of everything we teach through the 7 baby steps, what we call financial peace, is freedom. When Dave says, if you live and give like no one else, if you live like no one else, later you can live and give like no one else. What is at the core of that statement? It's freedom. I have options. And not only do I have options, I and only me get to choose what option I'm going to take. And so I think it's very important to say, should I be patient and cash flow my way for additional education? Is that the better move? Or should I take money from a company and be okay being a bit of an indentured servant here, where, essentially they paid for this, now I owe them X amount of years. And I think that's a tough decision for a lot of people because they're thinking about the money they're going to spend. But I would rather spend my money and have freedom on the other side of it.
I was just watching Financial Peace University with Dave's debt lesson, and he says, when your boss starts yelling at you and you start walking away and say, where are you going? I don't have any payments.
So true.
That's the kind of freedom we're talking about here when you follow this path. Money, work, it's all connected. More of your calls coming up. 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. This is The Ramsey Show, and we're here for you. This is a show about you and for you to help you take the right next step in your money life, in your work life, and whatever else is going on. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Christian is up next in Fresno. Christian, what's up? Are you with us, Christian?
Yeah. Thanks for taking my call, Ken, George. Thank you guys.
You bet.
Absolutely.
Hey, so I'll just give you a quick background. So I make about $8,000 a year. I'm on baby step 2 right now. Currently, just kind of started it about a month ago. I have about $64,000 in debt, give or take $1,000 bucks. But and about 20,000 of those are in credit cards and loans, which that I'm not too worried about. That I feel like I could take out within max 6 months. The rest of it, though, about $43,000 of that debt is in a vehicle. And I guess I was just calling to ask you guys' opinion whether or not I should just keep it or, downgrade. Because if I keep it, technically, I should, in theory, be able to pay it off within 2 years, best case scenario. If not, maybe add another 5 months to it. Or if I should just downgrade. The problem with that is that I'd be taking I'm negative on it, so I'd be taking that loan with me. It would be about like $10,000 that I'd be taking with me, even if I was.
So what's the car worth?
Sell it. So the car is worth about $35 from all the websites I've gone in, and I owe about $43.
Okay. So what's stopping you from going to a credit union and taking out a loan for the difference and being done with this thing and being $8,000 in debt instead of $43,000 in debt?
Because that's what I was asking, because of a new, I'd have to go and, I'd work about 30 minutes away, so I'd still have to get a decently card that could take me there. I'm not talking about anything expensive, just
sure.
Seems like a lot of headaches, you know.
How much money do you have in the bank?
Like, you mean like right now?
Yeah, between your checking and savings, all that.
Probably combined with the emergency fund, probably $3,000 maybe.
Okay, and how quickly could you save up another $5,000?
It wouldn't take too long. In about 2 months, 3 months maybe.
Okay, so what if we hustled and we got $5,000 in the next 2 months? That gives you $8,000 in savings. You'd take an $8,000 loan, and with that extra $7,000, so leave $1,000 in your savings account. We take $7,000 and we go buy you a beater car. Then you're out of this thing.
Yeah, that would work, yeah.
Then we'll work on paying off that small $8,000 loan. You've got a car to get you from A to B for a while, and you'll upgrade in no time. Once the rest of that debt's paid off, we start saving up and we cash flow a better vehicle. But the idea of you keeping this car and paying it off, it's just too much car for your world, man.
Yeah. What's your car payment?
It's pretty pricey. It's $760.
Oh, my gosh. I know. And the reason I asked you that is because I wanted you to say it. I wanted you to hear yourself say $760 because what George just walked you through, okay, which seems like a headache, but it's actually not, to do what he just said. And I'll be very honest with you, because I've got 3 teenagers. One I just got a car for, so I'm always looking at cars. I got 2 more to get next year. You can get a decent car for $7,000. You really can. It doesn't have to be a piece of crap on wheels. But imagine $760 a month that you're paying for that car gets reduced dramatically when you're only paying off $8,000, and you're going to knock that $8,000 out pretty quick. We're talking about a real lifestyle change. I don't want you to get lost in the, well, I got to go get a credit, a loan with the credit bureau, and then I got to do this and I got to do this. You're changing your life dramatically when that payment drops tremendously. Do you feel that?
Right, yeah, I do, yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, so what is 30-year-old Christian, what does he want to do? Where does he want to be financially 3 years from now?
Well, yeah, that's kind of why I started all this. I've known about the Ramsey Show for a while, but I never really started it. It was just until I told myself kind of I'm done with this I feel like I'm getting deeper in the hole than more ahead. I really do want to be debt-free and really just a baseline to maybe get a house soon,
Well, I want you to have that house dream front and center, but that's going to be a while because we've got to get rid of this debt. We have to get the emergency fund. We have to upgrade the car. Then we need to start saving the down payment. You're in Fresno. What does a condo cost in Fresno in your area?
It's not too pricey, about $300,000.
That's it? In Fresno? That's shocking to me.
Yeah, it's not like in Fresno. I live a little bit out in the outskirts, in a smaller neighborhood.
Well, I want you to have that goal front and center because at 27 years old, the reason we get this car is because we want to look good, we want to feel successful, look successful. But instead, we're sitting here going, I'm sending $800 to a lender with interest, and I got 24% interest on these credit cards. What am I doing with my life? I want 30-year-old Christian to be proud of what 27-year-old Christian did.
Yeah.
And that's to make these kinds of sacrifices.
Okay.
Hey, Christian, check this out. I was just thinking while George was talking to you, when I was 27, I had been married for 4 years, and my wife and I were saving up for a house, and I was driving a cash car, a Ford Taurus, that had no AC, and I had to use a staple gun to staple the roof felt or whatever, the liner, to keep it from falling on my head at the stoplight. And I wouldn't, but listen, man, I was on purpose. I was focused on something way bigger than how fancy my car was, George.
Drive like no one else, so later you can drive like no one else. That's the key.
Yeah, I mean, what's important? We got so many people, so many young people getting sucked into the look and feel of certain things, and these things tend to depreciate. They tend to lose their value, just emotional value as well.
Yeah, that new car becomes used pretty quick as soon as you drive it off the lot. So wishing you the best, man. Thanks for the call. Blake's up next in D.C. Blake, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Sure.
So we're on step 5 or 6, depending on how you look at it. We're saving for our son's college, and the only debt right now we have is 2 mortgages. So before we got married, my wife had a condo, and now we live in a townhouse. So we have 2 mortgages on those, and then we're starting to outgrow our townhouse. So we need to buy a new house probably in the next 2 or 3 years. And we're trying to decide if we should, save up for a down payment for the new house or try to pay off these mortgages. And right now the condo is a rental, and the current townhouse we would like to turn into a rental.
So you're wanting to keep both of these and get a new house?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. Then you're not going to like my advice. I don't think the answer to this is get a third mortgage, which is what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess both of our mortgage rates are below 3%, which makes it hard to, sell and give up. And
Well, wait. Okay, hold on. Let's just run some numbers here, okay? So what is your mortgage payment that you owe on the condo, and then how much are you profiting from rent each month on just the condo?
Yeah, so we're breaking even because my in-laws are renting the condo, so that's like $1,600 a month in mortgage and rent.
Okay, so you're not making any money on it.
So if one thing happens, one repair happens, you're in the hole.
Yeah.
And this is somehow a wealth-building plan.
Because of an interest rate. What's the condo worth? Let's run those numbers. If you sell it today, give me a fair price.
I mean, Zillow's saying $330.
And why are they not paying?
And how much do you owe on it?
We owe like $190.
Okay.
And what about the townhouse? What's left on that mortgage?
So that probably around like $450.
Goodness. All right. And what could it sell for?
When I refinanced last year, it was like $565 is what it was appraised at.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have a lot of equity in these properties, and all it takes is one thing to go wrong, one vacancy, one HVAC, and you guys are screwed. So I would be selling this townhouse when you go to move, and honestly, I'd probably look at selling this condo too to get you guys in a good financial spot. You can get an investment property later, but pay cash. Don't put yourself in the situation. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. If you like this show, we've got a lot more where that came from on the Ramsey Network. My friend Ken Coleman hosts his own show called The Ken Coleman Show right next door in the studio. You can check that out on YouTube, podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your content. And I've got a brand new YouTube channel, and it's also on Spotify video now. Did you know that was a thing, Ken? That's pretty cool. So if you go on Spotify, you search George Camel, you can actually watch
Camel with a K,
episodes.
by the way.
Thank you for that. Don't get it
I'd like
twisted.
to help you out with that. And by the way, he's the guy was made for YouTube, all right? You watch my YouTube videos and you go, there's a middle-aged dad. You watch George on YouTube and you go, this guy.
That's an out-of-touch millennial right there.
I'm telling you.
It's hard to connect.
Not true.
It's hard to connect with the youth these days because they think I'm not cool. Older people don't think I'm cool.
Yeah.
So I'm a very specific target demo.
No, we're having a little fun at our own expense. There's good content on both channels. Check it out.
That's true.
But
Enjoy
we're definitely not cool.
We can all agree on that.
We know that.
All right, let's get to the phones. Katrina's up next in Charlotte, North Carolina. Katrina, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm really excited to talk to you guys. Thank you guys for your help.
Sure. What's going on?
So I pursued a career in the past that I felt was a good fit for me. And I completed it. I got the certification. And once I completed school and I got in the career, I actually really didn't like it. And so now I'm back to ground one, to the beginning, and I'm deciding to go back to school. But I'm honestly having a lot of fear. I don't know entirely what my major should be, and I just need guidance. I need help. I wish I had that clarity that I thought I had before, but now I feel like I'm. Okay. I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. I want to dig into this really quickly. So, what was the career path that you were in that you regret going into? What was it?
I became a surgical technician.
A surgical tech. And when you decided to go into it, what did you think it was going to be, or what were you excited about that didn't pan out?
I really love helping people feel better. I really...
Physically? With their physical health?
Physically, mentally, everything.
Has that changed?
No, not at all.
So you thought the surgical tech you were going to be a part of their healing process, and...
Yeah, exactly. And then I started scrubbing in, and I'm standing there for 10-hour days, long cases, and nobody's talking, and doctors were, frustrated, and I was just getting anxious, and I'm like, oh no, This is not what I... So I stepped away from it.
There's a clue right there. You were in a surgical environment. The patient is under. There's no interaction with you and them, and you probably had to go check in on them, do a little research after the procedure just to see if it helped. So you didn't have any connection to that human to see that what you were doing or saying was making them feel better or have some sort of transformation, hope towards a better future. Do you see that?
Yeah. So actually, yeah, because it felt very technical.
It was.
The name, but
it was.
Yeah.
So that tells me a lot about you, Katrina, that you are all about people work. And I'm guessing you have a lot of people skills. Is this true or false?
Yeah. I mean, I do have periods of time when I need to recharge. I go home and I paint or read a book.
But you know why that is?
I really do love
The
people.
reason
Why?
is because you give a lot of energy to people. And it's similar to what George and I do. I will tell you that today already, I hosted my show. I had about an 8-minute break, and now I'm here with George. We're doing 3 hours here. And then I got a reception after this where I'll be talking to people. And then I got an FPU class I'll teach later tonight. And later tonight, I will just need to sit there and read a book, And because why? Because I have given a lot of my energy as it relates to my mind and words and reading and discerning like I'm doing with you right now. And so when you are doing people work, you will feel depleted, but you will also feel rewarded. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I've considered even nursing, but I worked with nurses, and it's too stressful for me.
Okay, great.
I know
perfect.
Yeah, but So
here's the deal.
Narrows it
I
down.
think all right. So I just wanted to learn a little bit about you and see what clues we could figure out really quickly. Now I'm going to put you on the spot, but I want you to not feel pressure. I want you to feel excited because there's no right or wrong answer. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, she's ready. I think you have some ideas, but you don't have confidence that those ideas are the right ones to pursue. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I knew it. So, Katrina, give me your top 2 ideas that you think about the most, real quick.
Well, I really thought about becoming like a Christian trauma therapist, or I've thought about becoming a physical therapist.
Yes. Fantastic. Now, let me tell you why I love those 2 answers. The Christian trauma therapist, so that's in the emotional therapy, the mental therapy, and then you got the physical therapy. And both of those, Katrina, allow you to be people-facing. And that means, George, that she's going to be looking people in the eye. She's going to be communicating with people in order to find out what's hurting, whether that be in their soul or in their body. And then you're going to come up with a plan and work with them. They've got to work with you. In both of those jobs, there is a give and take, yes?
Yeah, I'm actually already getting excited.
I could hear you smiling. I could hear the smile.
Yeah.
And so let me just say this, that those are 2 ideas that to me, I believe that God has wired you for. I believe you have the talent to win in those fields. I believe you have the passion, which means you love the work itself. And I think that you care deeply about the results. So you're going to be motivated to meet people in their place of pain and help them with transformation to get over the pain. So that's how we ideate, and we come up with ideas there. And then when we go, we don't choose a major first. In fact, we don't even think about school unless we look at both of those and we go, is a degree required for both of those? The answer is yes. So now we do have some schooling. But the process for you, and I'm going to give you my Get Clear assessment, which I think is going to be very confirming for you. And it measures talent, what you do best, passion, the work you love to do, and then mission, which is a term that I use for what motivates me. If you can get answers to those three things, and that assessment will do that if you answer it honestly, I think it will spit out a purpose statement that ends up being a high-level job description, and I think it will confirm both of those two ideas. But I think you just needed confidence, young lady, that what you were thinking and feeling made sense.
Yeah.
George?
Yeah. Well, as Katrina was talking, I was going, she doesn't trust herself because she felt like she flubbed it with this career path, and now she can't trust herself again. And that's not what happened.
You nailed it.
You just narrowed down exactly what you wanted to do, and you're super young. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Most people don't even
married,
figure this out until they're in their 40s or 50s, and they have so much regret.
Yeah.
You have your whole life ahead of you.
I agree.
So the next question is, and as you were talking, I said physical therapist. I think that's exactly right for her, and you were spot on. So what's the next step for school? Have you looked into how much that's going to cost and how you're going to cash flow it?
Well, actually, I called the community college nearby, and they're paying. It's free tuition, and also I work for an Amazon distribution center, and they actually pitch in for costs as well.
They do.
So I might be able to carry 4 years of education
incredible.
Free or really close to free. I am still trying to pay off the debt that I had from the previous certification. So
how much you got left?
I have $18,000 from student loans, and then I have $10,000 from credit cards and medical bills, which is the $10,000 is just, life circumstances, but the student loans is $18K. And I was actually going to ask if I should pay all that off before starting school.
Yes. Katrina, I was just getting ready to say, are you willing to do what it takes? And you were going to say,
yes.
And then I was going to ask you, are you willing to wait as long as it takes? That's a different question. And we want you paying that debt off first.
How much do you make?
Well, right now it's like $35K a year, which is not honestly my dream is to make $80 to $100K a year.
Oh, you'll get there, Katrina. I'm not worried about that. But let's get our income up so we can knock this debt out fast so that we can cash flow this schooling so that we can get to that dream. And you're going to get there in no time because you know exactly what you're after now. What an inspiring call. We're cheering you on. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey, it's Ken. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Campbell, joined by my dear friend, Mr. Ken Coleman this hour, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. That's the number to call if you want to jump in the conversation.
Two deers.
Two deers. That's how dear
not
you
just
are.
a dear friend. You went with the dear friend.
I thought it was appropriate.
Oh, I feel so loved right now, George.
That was my goal.
All right.
Well,
We
hey,
got some people to help.
If you want to spread the love and you like this show, please consider subscribing, leave a review, share it with a friend. We've seen the data, Ken. That is how this show grows. It's not through fancy marketing and paid advertising. It's from people like you going, hey, you got to check out this episode. It really helped me get out of debt. It gave me some hope. It gave me some motivation. So we so appreciate all of you who have left those reviews, subscribed to our channels, and shared it with people.
Yeah.
My new tagline is, Be a bro, share the show. What do you think about that?
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's got a whole lot of Velveeta on it, and I don't like it. I tell you what I do like is when people call in going, hey, I'm stuck, I'm scared, I'm confused, whether it be in their money life, their work life. So we're taking those calls this hour. George will straighten you out on those baby steps of the money. And if your work situation, not making enough income, or you're just not happy where you are, but you're worried about a loss of income, work and money issues go hand in hand. So we're here for you this hour. Good word. Inextricably.
Thank you.
That's a good word.
Ken always ups my vocab when I'm hanging out.
That's what we do. We make each other better, George.
All right, let's get to the phones. Lee kicks us off in Columbus, Ohio. Lee, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Quick question. I'll get to the point. My husband and I are on baby step 3. We decided to upgrade his car because we are expecting our first baby in December. And I am just wondering where you draw the line with cost sunk fallacy. We made the decision pretty quick. We didn't mind putting a little bit of money into it, but we sold his car, which was a 2-door standard shift, which I don't know how to drive, and wanted something that was a little bit more family friendly. So we upgraded to a 4-door. And of course, we didn't, cross our T's, dot our I's, and get it checked out by a mechanic. And we're about 3,000 in, and now the transmission's making a sound. So we're like, when do we cut our losses? And,
Ouch.
We're on baby step 3, but we're on track to have our 5 to 6 month savings by the time the baby comes. So we didn't mind cash flowing a little bit, but we're kind of drawing the line.
Have you looked into what the repair is going to cost?
So the noise, we just put in about $2,500 for, it's closing in on 100,000 miles. So these were not unforeseen, like new tires, shocks, brake pads, all that stuff. My husband could do some of the work, but the sound that's coming out now might be like a crack in the transmission. So that could be something as simple as a patch. He'll get his car looked at on Monday, and then it could be, real bad, like a new transmission. We just wanted to kind of be prepared for that worst case scenario mentally.
What do you think you could sell it for right now, even with the potential transmission issue?
Probably, we got it for about 11. We could probably sell it for about 9 or 10.
Oh, wow. As is?
With all the work put into it, yeah. And that's assuming a crack. So obviously, if it needs a new transmission and it's going to go, like that obviously wouldn't be honest.
I do the homework to figure out.
I would too.
Before we catastrophize and go, we got to go get a brand new car because we got a baby.
Yeah.
Let's figure out if this is a $1,000 fix or a $5,000 fix. And then go, are we going to ROI on this? So if we put $5,000 in, is it going to increase the value to 14 or 15? Maybe not. Yeah. We'll have to see. And what car could we get for a similar amount? And if you can't get that much car for what you'd be paying into it, it may be worth just keeping, even if you do the repair.
Yeah. But I would absolutely look into the transmission, do you have a trusted mechanic that they're going to tell you the truth? You got some history with this?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's a guy that goes to our church. Really
okay.
Well
so
trusted.
I would research it with him. What's the real problem? What's the real fix? And just to give you an idea, several years ago, I sold a car. My transmission was starting to go. And I listed it that way. I said, look, here's the deal. It's still running. It'll get you from point A to B, but you are going to need to replace the transmission. And this is what the quote is on this. And I reduced the price probably by about $3,000 less than what it was, and I still got cash for it.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was a win. I didn't put any money in it, and I still came out, of course, with some cash. So I would look at all those situations, and then it just comes down to what's the right amount of spend for you, whether it's to fix or to get something different. I think your common sense is going to win the day.
Thank you. Yeah, we're just feeling a bit stupid tax with, he had a perfectly fine car. And I have a good car, and, building up our emergency fund, if his car were to go and we do keep it, it's not a true emergency. We can be a 1-car family for a second.
Oh, great.
Good.
Yeah.
Get creative with it.
You know what? I appreciate the emotion you're feeling right now, but you need to let yourself off the hook there on the stupid tax. It is what it is. You're in good shape now. This is not a crisis.
Absolutely. And if you want to sell it for $10K and go get you something and inspect it with your mechanic before you buy
that's what I would do.
That you feel better about.
Yes, absolutely.
That's okay
we
too.
will never make this.
There's no wrong way to do this. The only wrong way is to go into debt out of fear and paranoia that, the car's going to burn up on the interstate. once you have this baby.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what
Pay it
most
all in
people say.
cash.
I'm proud of you guys. You're very level-headed about this whole discussion. And can we take calls about cars all the time? And it grinds our gears, pun intended, sometimes because people go, well, Ken, there's no safe cars under $10,000, so I need to go get a $40,000 brand new car with a loan so I can be a good parent and protect my family.
Right. No.
That's a ridiculous statement.
Ridiculous.
That there's unreliable cars just because they have even 100,000 miles on them.
Listen, if all those people who live in this day and age could go back to the 80s when I was growing up and look at the car that my mom and dad drove me around with no seatbelt in the front, it was their forearm, it's going to be okay.
And you went uphill both ways. Yeah. I mean, that's impressive.
But, it's honestly, it's like you could go get a decent minivan, and if it gets you from point A to point B, who cares what
Absolutely.
it looks like?
Yes. And I know that the car market right now is insane. So if you're looking to get a car, especially a new car or a used car, the prices are crazy. And
are you seeing, though, that they're dropping a little bit?
We're starting to see the cool-off happen.
A little bit.
But there's still so many weird variables involved in the car market right now that I would just try to get a car that's as affordable as possible to get you from point A to point B. Now is not the time to flex. And unless you're a millionaire, do not go buy a new car. You simply cannot afford the hit on depreciation. It's just too much of your world wrapped up in something going down in value. Yeah. So if you want to pay cash for a reasonable used car and all of the things with wheels and motors in it in your life add up to less than half of your income, that's how you know you're not out of control. It's a great parameter to help me go, is this crazy to spend this much? Yeah, it is, because I make $40,000 and my car is worth $30,000. Yeah. That is insane.
By the way, if you're buying a car on the open market from someone else, not a dealer, and even the dealers, they can be sketchy, but ask to take it to your mechanic. Yes. And if that makes them nervous,
run.
You need to be nervous.
If they say, no, you can't take this to mechanic, walk away. Yeah. Go find a dealership who will allow you to do that, because that's going to give you the peace of mind to know you're not buying a lemon. You're not going to have $17,000 in repairs, which is how people catastrophize this stuff in their minds. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
I'm George Campbell, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. You can call us up at 888-825-5225 if you want to talk about your life, your work, your money. Our question of the day is sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services. If you're moving, you've got a long list of to-dos, but Neighborly has got local pros like Housemaster, 5-Star Painting, and Junk King to check those items off the list. Visit neighborly.com today to schedule home service experts near you.
Today's question comes from Daniel in Maryland. I'm starting the application process for college. However, I'm in a dilemma. My dream school is George Washington University in D.C., and the tuition costs $80,000 a year. Hello, including room and board. The total would be $320,000. I'm a well-rounded student. He's talking about 4 years. I'm a well-rounded student who could get into the school, but I have a higher chance to get in if I do early decision. As you probably know, this is binding, and I won't know the amount of merit I will be getting before I get accepted. Now, wow. I just want to stop before we get to the rest of the question. This is stacked against these young people. It's a game. This is like this is CIA level stuff.
Sad and scary.
Should I apply early, or should I do a regular decision to see what money I get, but sacrifice the higher chance of getting in? Well, I think this is the wrong question completely, but I'll answer the question. If you were my son and you asked me this, I'd say, look, I would do the regular decision to see what kind of money you can get. It's not that important. I would certainly not do the early decision just for the chance of a higher percentage of getting accepted, because I know you're excited about George Washington University and I'm a Virginian, and so I know if it's a fine institution, George. It's got a lot of prestige. But no one, and I mean no one, cares.
Especially George Washington. You know that guy's not paying $320,000 to go to his own school.
Yeah, so
he thinks it's a scam too.
Exactly. So, your parents don't care. They're going to be proud of you no matter where you go to school, your eventual customers or clients.
When did it become about the college? When did it not become about, hey, I got the education to get this job versus I went to this school?
Yeah. Well, the short answer is in the 60s when we began to see the federal student loan program get up and going, and then it was a marketing message that going to four-year university, you're going to get more education, which means you're going to get a better job.
Parents believe that myth.
And the system supported that. That was true at the time. That is less and less true in 2023. But that's when it became a status symbol, when it was our friend Mike Rowe, he talks about the poster that he saw. He's made this poster famous. He's in high school in the 70s, and his guidance counselor's talking to him about where to go to college. And over his head is a poster, a split screen, if you will, where it says "Work Smart," and it shows the white collar college graduate. He's got his white collar, his tie, he's got his diploma, he's got his cap and gown, and he's got a dentine smile. Ding! And then on the other side, where it says "Work Smart, Not Hard," it's got a dude with grease on his face, a wrench that could kill a horse, and, a scowl on his face.
And it's poo-pooing the trades, going, you don't want to be like this guy.
Yeah, but the subliminal message is, if you go to college, you're going to be successful and have great-looking teeth.
They got the photo up on the screen
there
for us.
It
Look
is.
at that. Thank you
guys.
If you're watching on YouTube.
Look at this. If you're watching this, the message to millions of Americans is,
don't work hard. Go to college instead and do white-collar work because you'll be more successful.
Everything about it just says... And so you want to know when college became a status symbol? That's when it became a status symbol. But I got to tell you, those days are over.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
And I remember being in Daniel's shoes because I got into my dream school, Ken. It was Emerson College in Boston. I was going to go into film and media. Great school.
Very impressive.
And it was $50,000 a year, and I got no help. I got no financial assistance. Parents hadn't saved for college. And even back then, not knowing Dave, I went, $200,000 for a film degree sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And so I didn't do it. I ended up going to a state school for a little while, and it was the best decision I made to not go $200,000 into debt. And that's what I feel for Daniel, regardless of what career choice he's going to go into. To start off your adult life, $300,000 in the hole is no way to live.
Yeah. And by the way, let's just bury this, okay? Because the cultural argument is, well, the ROI is there. I would say the ROI isn't there, and people argue with me, whatever. Well, let's just run it out, okay? You can't look at it as a straight $320,000 versus what you're going to make in the totality of your career. What you have to look at it is that most of these kids aren't paying this debt off, George. You know the data. How many years has it taken most people to pay off student loans?
20 years.
20 years. So it's $320,000 baseline, and then the 20 years of interest payments.
That's closer to $500,000.
So it does not ROI as it relates to the first 5 to 7 years of your career, and certainly not when it comes to your emotional and mental health.
You're stunted in all categories. And the schools are genius for scamming everyone to going, we will accept you. You have the opportunity to be accepted, and you can have the opportunity to pay us $80,000 a year.
Yeah, it's literally...
What a privilege.
It's atrocious. It's literally going, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to go $320,000 in debt.
And if you want more on this, we've got a free documentary that you can go watch called Borrowed Future on YouTube. Watch this if you're a parent, if you're a teen, if you're in college. It will show you the truth about this entire student loan industry and higher education in general. Good stuff there. All right, let's go to McKenna in Springfield, Missouri. McKenna, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on?
So I'll be as brief as possible. My husband and I are on baby step 4, 5, and 6. We have followed Dave Ramsey since before we were even married.
And we have had a really, really hard year and a half. We've had 3 job changes. We've lived in 3 different homes. We've had medical diagnoses, cars die. We've used our emergency fund more than we ever have. And we're struggling to find the motivation, and we're just frustrated. Like, how do we have no money, and how are we not getting anywhere? And I wondered if you had any advice for feeling defeated in these steps.
Well, this is as much emotional and mental as it is financial. Yeah. And so I'll speak to the finance part real quick. Obviously, baby step 4, 5, 6, they happen simultaneously. You have 15% going to retirement. We're putting a little bit away for college, and we're putting whatever's left onto the house. So clearly, you guys have been in a season where you haven't been able to do a whole lot of that because life has just been coming at you. And that's okay. The key here is you've been able to cover all of this, and it hasn't become a crisis. It's just been an inconvenience. And it feels like this is going to happen forever, but the truth is it's just a crazy season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You got to hang in there. It's tough, but I can just tell you, you guys have been in a prolonged storm of life where a lot of stuff has hit you. And yet here you are on the phone today. I hear a little one in the background. Everybody's okay. We're still here. We're making it. We haven't quit. And I think you got to hold on to that, because when you look back on this many years from now and you stay the course, and you don't accept debt as an opportunity to make some of this storm go away or make it feel better, you're going to look back on this and see the growth that came from this time. And I think you just have to keep your head down and keep going through it. I've told this story before when we did our live stream back in the middle of COVID. I told the story. It's not a story. It's just the reality of the difference between a buffalo and a cow. They're cousins. But when storms come at cows out on the field, they run away from the storm, and the storm inevitably catches up with them, and they end up running with the storm, so they stay in it longer. But buffalo, for whatever reason, they see a storm out on the plains and they run into the storm full speed, and they get through the storm faster. And I think right now it's just stay with the principles, the baby steps, stay with it. Get that emergency fund built back up, hang in there, don't quit moving forward. And I think the storm will pass. And that's the encouragement I want you to hold on to, because you're stronger today than you were a year ago when all this stuff started happening to you, and you guys have lived to tell about it, and you're going to get through this. I promise.
Give yourselves grace, McKenna. This is a process, and you've moved out of baby step 2 and 3, which means we've moved from intense to intentional. And so I found what helps me when in these seasons is turning to gratitude and contentment and going, thank God we had that emergency fund. Where would we be today without that? Thank God we had good health insurance to cover that. Thank God we had good car insurance to cover that repair. All of those things help you look to the future instead of paying for the past. And so we're cheering you on through 4 and 6. It may be longer than you want it to be, but you're still in an incredible place. Hey, if you're financially ready to buy your first home in this market, it is not because of luck. It's because you've been putting in the work and kicking butt at budgeting and saving, and we're so excited for you. And we don't want your hard work to go to waste. Buying a house is the biggest purchase you will ever make, and the last thing you need to do is fly solo or work with some garbage real estate agent. Even if it's your Aunt Susan and she's a very nice lady, you can't leave this up to an agent who's just good enough. You need great. And a Ramsey trusted agent is a great agent. They set you up for success before and after closing day by helping you find the right home, keeping you on track with your goals, and making sure you're confident in your decision. Ramsey trusted pros get our stamp of approval because we know they work hard to serve you, not to pad their paycheck. So you've worked too hard to buy your first home with anyone but the best. You can find a Ramsey trusted real estate agent by going to RamseySolutions.com/agent. That's RamseySolutions.com/agent. Corey joins us up next in Norfolk, Virginia. Corey, what's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Real quick, I have a debt of $20,000 left on a vehicle.
Okay.
With the baby steps, I've been able to knock out all the credit card debt, and I'm just down to this zero interest payment on this car. But I still owe $20,000 on it. I have, depending on the day in the market, roughly $8,000 to $7,000 worth of stocks.
Okay.
What I've been doing is they're dividend stocks, and I've been rolling the dividends into the payment. However, I haven't really been happy with the performance of the stocks, and I was just wondering, do I take those stocks, just sell them, and throw them down on the payment, or keep them, hold them, and kind of save them for the later steps in the baby steps, since I already have them? I'm just kind of confused on what would be the best course.
We'll take out all the confusion here. I would sell the stocks today and make sure you account for any taxes that you'll have on those gains. And I tell you that with confidence because I was in your exact shoes when I started this plan. I had worked at the Apple store. I had some stocks, and I had about the same amount you did, about $7,000, $8,000 or so. And I cashed it out to knock out my student loan debt and help me become debt-free faster.
Okay.
So anything that's non-retirement, we would tell you to, even if it was mutual funds in a brokerage account that was non-retirement, I would tell you to cash it out. And stocks are even scarier because of the volatility with them being in single companies. And so I'd get off this train before it crashes for sure. And that's going to knock out almost half your debt. So how much faster is that going to speed up the process for you?
I've been budgeting, and our monthly income is it's $5,236. We got our expenses down to, last month was $3,700.
Cool.
Including the minimum payment, and we've been just rolling anything extra into.
So you got like $1,500 extra to throw at this debt.
Yes, sir. So basically, the car is going to be paid off if I don't do anything and continue the way I am. By my math, roughly 16, 18 months.
And this will speed that up to like 8 or 10 months probably, right?
Yes,
Max.
sir.
I love that. Man, that makes me feel.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel as soon as these stocks are paid off. And I would absolutely do it, and I did it. So I don't tell you this as someone who wouldn't do the same. We're cheering you on, man. Thanks for the call. Tammy is in Tampa. Tammy in Tampa. I like that. What's going on, Tammy?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm selling my house, and I expect to net about $145,000 from that. And I plan on putting about $75,000 down on a condo, which will leave me with a $70,000 mortgage. I'm gonna, after I pay off my debt and tithe on the income that I receive from the house, the sale of the house, I'm going to have about $30,000 left, and I'm not sure what I should do with that.
Why not put it towards the new home?
It's not going to be a forever home. It's going to be I'm going to live there until I'm no longer working home, and then I'm going to sell it.
That's okay. I mean, why put anything into the home at that point if it's not a forever home?
I have to find a place to live in Tampa. Area is hard right now for rent. You're looking at $1,700 for a one-bedroom apartment.
I understand. I'm saying that equity is not going to disappear. If you put that $30K into the new home, it will give you a smaller mortgage that you'll pay off faster and a lower monthly payment. And so it'll alleviate a whole lot of stress and help you become totally debt-free. I mean, what if you could own that house free and clear to where when you sold that thing, it was all profit? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes, it actually would.
Hey, Tammy,
let's. About it.
Well, I know, because this is interesting. You just laid out for us that with the money you want to put down, you'll owe 70 on the condo. But if you do what George told you to do and you put that 30 on it, now you're only going to owe 40. Am I right?
That is correct.
Start looking at those numbers.
How quickly could I pay off 40 grand? Look at two numbers.
Look at how much less you're paying per month. It's not a huge amount, but still, you're paying less per month, and you're going to be able to pay off the 40 really quickly. Now, all of a sudden, you have no household expenses as it relates to mortgage, just your utilities and all that. And so you're sitting really pretty. And you got yourself a real solid investment in Tampa, Florida, which is one of the, by the way, all real estate in Florida right now, I just read this week, is hot.
Yeah, my house sold in one day.
Yeah, so why not put the 30 is what we're saying. Why not go ahead and put the remaining 30 on the condo?
I'm going to go look at everything again.
Good.
I love it. And as long as you're still investing 15% towards retirement and you're on track there, I want to see you have a paid-for house, because then how much could you invest at that point? 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Right.
And so
Right.
there's nothing like having a paid-for house. And sometimes the math doesn't reflect that on paper, and people love to argue with us about, well, I have a 3% interest rate. Why would I pay off my mortgage? I don't know. Freedom. Not just freeing up the payment, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, the options it gives you to give, save, spend differently. There's nothing like it, Tammy. And you're on your way.
Alrighty. I can't believe that my automatic default was to say yes to the mortgage, more of a mortgage.
Well, that's how we're wired. Our brains
that's
are
the
wired
message
like
you've
that.
been given. But this is a whole different ballgame. This speeds up your retirement plan as it relates to being completely free financially. This is a great move for you.
I love this. And Ken, this is a big thing that people grapple with when it comes to the Ramsey plan, is paying off the house early and just doing the house the right way. We recommend a 15-year fixed rate mortgage where the payment is no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. That sounds insane in today's world. And people go, they're out of touch with reality, Ken. No, we just want you to not be broke forever and be house poor. And that might mean you need to increase your income. That might mean you need to pause for 2 years and save up a bigger down payment.
Well, there's no question. You have to be patient to take that strategy of a 15-year fixed.
Well, they go,
you got to put more
the
down.
payment's higher on a 15-year. And I'm going, a lower payment just means you're even more broke because you're paying more in interest.
Right.
Since when is a low payment the goal? Walk into a car dealership and say, I'd love as low of a payment as possible. They're happy to give it to you.
Yeah.
And that's how you know you're getting screwed.
Yeah, they'll finance a car for 37 years if they were allowed to.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, I agree. But people need to understand that 15-year, that means a bigger down payment. That means you got to save up more money longer. It takes more time, but what it's going to do is just save you time on the back end because you're paying off that house so much faster.
Yeah.
And financial freedom, equity, everything's better.
And when you don't have a house payment, you could, I don't know, retire with dignity. And you could work because you want to and not because you have to. Mm-hmm. That's a very different mentality than we're seeing in today's world, Ken, where people are going, I'm 67 and I'm still working a job I hate because we still have the mortgage hanging around our necks.
Yeah, it's absolutely right.
And so it's very freeing to follow these steps, get out of debt, get the emergency fund, invest 15%, save some for college, start paying off the house early. And when you do that, you're at baby step 7, the mountaintop where you get to build wealth and give outrageously. And there's nothing like it.
Let me tell you who's almost there with a bright and sunny future.
Who?
Tammy from Tampa.
Oh my gosh, that threw me for a curveball, Ken. That was pretty good.
I had to bring it back.
I love it. Well, we're cheering all of you on that are in that step, attacking that home. There's nothing like it. You step in that grass and it's all yours, baby, even if there's some patches in it. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day comes from Proverbs 21:21. Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. That guy's got away with words.
Let me tell you something. Ralph Waldo Emerson has got some of the all-time gold quotes.
One of the all-time best Ralphs that I can think of.
I mean, he's certainly above Ralph Macchio.
That's about the only other one I know. So that's where it ends. Love it.
Are we leaving out any other famous Ralphs, guy? Ralph, Wasn't there a car? Wasn't there a
Wreck-It Ralph.
That's
Another
what
great
it was.
Ralph out there.
That's from the deep, dark base of my brain when the kids were watching cartoons all the time in those movies. You forget all that.
It was a different era for you, Ken.
Yeah, glad to be past that.
All right, well, let's get to the phones. Krista joins us up next in Asheville, North Carolina. Krista, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, what's going on?
I was calling in because I signed up for FPU almost a year ago in August, but I'm paralyzed by progressing through the baby steps. And the reason I am is because my husband and I own a small business, which is significantly less profitable than it has been in past years. We've been in business since 1993, but it's just not in a good state right now.
What kind of business?
One of the things I'm trying to identify is opportunities for me to change my career for more steady income, and also because I was never really interested in the company, so to speak, but I have been working there to support my husband and what he wanted.
So it's his dream, and you were kind of going along with it to help make it reality.
That's exactly what I've been saying.
Can he do it without you? I think the answer is yes, but if you leave to go get something that you enjoy, that you make much better money, what kind of situation would that put him in?
Well, the business is doing so poorly, and my contribution is usually doing the books and
gotcha.
So, things like that.
So it sounds like he'd be thrilled if you went and got a really good paying job that you loved.
Well, the answer is no, because he's like, I'd like to think that we can work together and get through this.
Well, he doesn't want to face the reality that this business may not be it anymore.
Correct.
What kind of business is it?
It is an IT and telecommunications company.
Can we agree that IT and telecom has changed drastically over 30 years?
Well, you and I do, but he still believes that, hardware is where it's at.
Is this going to cause a massive relational issue if, and I'm saying this hypothetically, you told him this evening, hey, I can't do this anymore. Here's why. I want us to get out of debt. I need more income to help us do that. I've never enjoyed this. This thing is stressful, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and lay it all out for him and say, I want your support on this. Is that going to cause a massive problem?
Well, I doubt it, because I've said it before, but I haven't given the reasons of getting out of debt, and this, that, and the other. Although I've mentioned it, and he's like, that's when he said, I'd like to think that we can work together, and with just the two of us.
You got to have a heart-to-heart here. We got several issues going on in this question. The first is you got to have a heart-to-heart with him, and he needs to relationally let you go on this decision and go, all right, you're my wife first and foremost, not my business partner first and foremost. And I think that has to happen first. Then the next thing is you've got to just say, all right, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I can do based on my existing talent and experience? If there's some skills that I got to pick up, how can I get qualified for those? What's the, the most effective way to do that? And get after it, But right now, for you guys where you're at to get started on the baby steps, because I'm bringing it all back to you're paralyzed. You've got some fear of getting serious about the baby steps. And I'm going to challenge you on that in a second, and I'm going to hand it to George. But right now, let's say that you're not quite sure what that white collar or that next big career move is. The reality is you can go make pretty good money, probably more money than he's paying you, just doing something that doesn't require any kind of qualifications. It's just maybe customer service related. You're working for a big box store or whatever, or manufacturing, or you're doing anything, making $20 an hour in a customer service role or some type of sales job that, again, is train as you go. So I want to paint a picture for you that more income is sitting there waiting for you just to move towards it. Then the big picture, if you want to make 80, 100,000, you want to go some career direction or whatever, that's a different ball game. But there's a fear in you that shouldn't exist, because going through the baby steps is going to actually relieve the financial tension, George.
Absolutely. So what is the household income right now? I'm guessing the net profits of the business?
Well, yeah. I mean, last year it was $38,000, which in years past, it has been, $200,000.
Yeah. I think here's what I would do if I was in your shoes. I would say, hey, husband, we have to set a goal. And if this business can't get back up to, $100,000 a year, in the next 6 or so months, then we have to relook at this thing. And maybe you go get an IT job because you have 30 years experience in IT and you can make double or triple that. I can go do bookkeeping. I can make double what I'm making. And all of a sudden, this becomes a very different picture.
Yeah.
But again, this starts with that conversation.
I've even tried to pivot the company, but his response is only, I'm a hardware guy.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm just going to keep it real. I wouldn't wait 6 months.
Okay.
I wouldn't wait 6 hours. The conversation happens tonight. Listen, he's your husband, and you trying to talk him out of this, it doesn't sound like it's going to happen at all. What you need is more income. When he starts seeing the influx of income that you're bringing, and he starts going, look at what my wife is leading me into with this whole financial peace process, he'll come along for the ride. But right now, there's no convincing him. Doesn't make any sense to me to stay doing what you're doing.
No, and I agree. And I mean, because of the financial state and me not having a job that I enjoy, it's hard for me to, be happy in myself, so to speak.
Listen, I understand. It's what I teach.
Well, it's going to turn into resentment, and it probably already has. That you've been doing this for 30 years and you didn't even want to do it.
Right.
So we have to have this conversation.
It did give me flexibility when the kids were little, and I understand that value. And I mean, I did. My dad was very sick and ended up passing away. I do take care of my mom still. So all of those items create a need for flexibility, so to speak.
Well, he's hanging on to the past, and we need to be very concerned about the future because you guys need to retire someday. Do you have any debt right now?
Oh, yeah, we have a lot of debt. We recently sold our home because our debt was so high, and the income just wasn't in here to scrape to keep the house. Our mortgage was only like $2,500, but then we had an equity line that made it almost $4,000.
How much debt do you have now?
And with our income only down, 25% of what we were accustomed to, something had to give. So we did sell the house. We did pay down some of our debt. We have the rest of the equity from the house in a bank.
So, Krista, what's left on the debt?
Let's see. We've got about $30,000 in credit cards.
Oh my gosh!
And another $30,000 in medical bills. Actually, about $35,000 in medical bills. And we've got one car that we owe about $35,000 on. It's worth about $50,000.
That thing needs to get sold.
I'd sell that tomorrow.
And you just sit down with them. You're the bookkeeper. You're the numbers gal. Sit down with them. Show them the numbers. Show them the interest rate, the amortization schedules, and frighten him to death. And tell him, I am so scared I can't breathe and I can't sleep because I know we're never going to be able to retire. We're headed towards bankruptcy at this point. Yeah. Something's got to change. And it's not about you and your dreams and your business. This is about us surviving and being able to retire one day. And that's going to be a real tough situation, Krista. I'm sorry you guys are going through this, but there's no good way, no pretty ending to this.
Go get you a $20 an hour job. I don't even care what it is. That's a massive raise over what the two of you did last year. So let's go. Get busy. Got to work.
That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Ken Coleman, all the folks in the booth keeping the show afloat, and you, America. We'll be back with you before you know it. Hey, it's George Camel. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.